Oh man, playing with Peyton was the blessing that I needed. And it was an honor to play with him every day. I learned from him and the other guys that I played with, but he was so detailed, on point, and always communicating with his teammates, his players, and myself. And I kind of had to overhear everything just to make sure that I'm taking all the clues that he's giving to Reggie, Marvin, Gonzo, and Dallas Clark. And it was a great opportunity for me, and I couldn't think of a better quarterback to be with. Both of them are great leaders. Both of them are great quarterbacks. Obviously, Robert is more athletic than Kirk is, but that's the dimension that gave Robert the heads up or the one up on Kirk. But they're both quarterbacks that are great with their arms and great with decision making. And injuries are part of the game. It's just unfortunate, but it was awesome to play with both of those guys, especially when they're fresh, when they're new. And I tried to help them and guide them with their career. But it was definitely a great opportunity to help be around that, because it was a special moment for us in Washington D.C. It was cool. It was a good feeling. We didn't do well that year, but I'm glad I can put my effort out there and help the team, because that's how I always wanted to play, was play hard and be valuable to my team. But it was exciting for me personally. But unfortunately, we didn't win what we tried to win. But it was a great year, and it's all to the quarterbacks, both Robert and Kirk and Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan. Oh, now that Aaron Rodgers is not in their division, it makes it a little bit easier. But it's tough to make it to the Super Bowl. It's tough to win the Super Bowl. He has the offensive weapons. He probably needs some more help. But I think they're not far, but they're not a threat yet. it could go their way, but we want it to go their way. But it's hard to say. They're guaranteed to make it to the playoffs and guaranteed to make it to the Super Bowl championship. But they've done well last year. They're close, but I was shocked by them losing to the Giants last year. Oh yeah, being around Sean McVay was a breath of fresh air. He loves football. He knows football. He was a great high school football player. His claim to fame that he won Georgia Mr. Football over Calvin Johnson. So he always lets us know. But he's a student of the game, and you can tell when you speak to him, when you hear him coaching the game. He knows every part of the game, which is somebody that you can take advice from anything, because you're like, hey, this guy's well detailed, well oriented in the sport of football. So, it wasn't a shock that he rose to success that quick, that fast, but we knew he had it in him, and he was a student of the game. So it doesn't surprise me or anybody that was in that locker room. I'd love to be remembered as a player that went hard. That's that we can control the effort that we put into it. And when my teammates see me put in effort, even if the team loses or even if it's winning, but like when they see you're giving effort, it motivates everybody to do the same. So that's what I want to be remembered for, just the guy that gave effort, that went hard and enjoyed the game, because I did enjoy playing it. Aaron Rodgers he always has a chance. He always has a chance. He has a receiver. He has a chance when he has the ball in his hand. He will need help from those young guys, the young receivers. Like he said last year, he needed help. But if the defense for the Jets, Robert Saleh could get that defense, dialed in. Aaron Rodgers having the ball in his hand gives him more opportunity to become better and more familiar with the players. He can be dangerous. He can be very, very dangerous. They may need another receiver to step up or a tight end to step up, just to take the burden off of Garrett Wilson. But they're moving in the right direction if somebody steps up and make those tough catches for Aaron Rodgers and the offense, and the Jets offense. That's a great question. Sean Payton is he kind of ran the offense kind of like we did in Indy, where it's pass first, and Russell's kind of used to play action, and we help with the run game. But as you get older, you become more comfortable with the passing game in the NFL. But Sean Payton's playbooks could be complicated a little bit. When you're not comfortable with it, you're second behind. And in the NFL, if you're second behind, it's too late. But he has a great offensive mind. It's just got to be relayed to Russell's style, because at the end of the day, that's your quarterback. So you kind of have to customize it for the quarterback or Russell. Honestly, from watching this preseason, I think Anthony Richardson feels the most comfortable, where he's at. Bryce Young, we want him to do well. CJ Stroud is just the tough out there in Houston. But I think, Anthony Richardson might be that guy that, propels up. But, it's early. It's hard to say. But I do wish Anthony Richardson well. And, it's my former team. So I'm always rooting for those guys. The chemistry that they have with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is hard to, break. I know they're trying to get their D tackle Chris Jones back. That plays a big part of them holding the other quarterbacks at bay and the other teams at bay. But it's hard to bet against Kansas City Chiefs. They're very consistent. They have great coaching. They have great quarterbacks and just gifted players that guys just can't stop on one-on-ones. And I think he will get better, get more comfortable. He has a lot of great athletes around him, which is the best thing for a quarterback. And he just has to keep using those guys so that it's not all on him. I know Kyle Shanahan's going to do a great job of getting the ball out of Rock's hand quick and early so that, you can get completions to grow the confidence. And when they need him down in the stretch, he comes through. But, when you have those receivers, Debo and Aiyuk, it helps. When you have Christian McCaffrey, it helps. When you have a guy like Trent Williams blocking too, you're solid. So I hope he keeps elevating, but it is tough to continue because there is film. They know tendencies now, and it's the game. This is a great question because honestly, this year and last year, Sam Howell did look very comfortable. This year, he looks even more comfortable, and we're all excited about Eric Bieniemy, working with the whole offense. Everybody seems comfortable. It seems obviously like a different offense because it's Eric's offense, but that kind of throws the league off because they don't know what to expect yet. And that helps Sam Howell. It helps, the receivers because they put them in different positions so that just like Brock, you get the quarterback the ball, you get it out quick so that these guys can make plays for you. But the nuance that Eric Bieniemy is throwing in there is helping Sam Howell and everybody out on offense because those guys, Eric Bieniemy is very creative and we need that. And I saw that in the preseason. I'm like, I like that play call. I love that motion to confuse the defense. And it gives me pleasure to see the direction we're moving in. And I hope for the best, but it's still a game of football. I'm expecting a big season from him. Everybody's expecting a big season from him. I don't know the numbers, what the numbers will be, but I know he's a great player. He's a fast guy, gets off the ball really fast. He's great with his hands because he catches a lot of the balls with his hands. He goes across the middle. He does work on the outside. He, regardless of what his numbers show this year, he's still a great player, a great asset. He's a top tier receiver in this league. And I know they're going to try to get him the ball, but defenses know him too. So it's going to be fun to see, but he is definitely going to demand double coverage at some point. Oh, yeah, those guys kind of feed off each other. If one doesn't get there, the other guy's going to get there. And I do expect that. And they have that same expectation for themselves, regardless if coming off of injuries or not. But, they have one job, go after the quarterback, get to the quarterback. And they've proven that they can do it well. I'm sure they want to get back to that top tier where they were at. But, those guys are young. So they'll definitely be hungry to keep getting after the quarterbacks. And that's exciting for, us, because when you have a great D-line, it makes every quarterback uncomfortable. Yeah, it definitely hurts if Jonathan Taylor's not there, but the game is moving to a passing game. But, Jonathan Taylor does take off some of that pressure on Anthony Richardson. But, it's part of the game where we know it's going to be the next man up. It could be an injury or a contract holdout, but you still have to keep moving forward. And, we'd all want Jonathan Taylor to be there. We want him to get his contract, but that's the business side of football, but it will make things harder for the Indianapolis offense and the team as a whole to get to that playoff and Super Bowl run that they're on. Yeah, you got to win those division games. Houston, I don't see them being a tough opponent, but it's always hard to beat a division opponent twice. But he's definitely got to connect with Michael Pittman. He's got to throw touchdown passes. You got to protect the ball. Those are the main keys as offense. He's going to take his learning curves. He's going to learn. He's going to take his learning lessons. But, when you protect the ball, you take what the defense gives you and throw touchdown passes, it helps win the division. But it's not going to be easy. Oh, no, it's definitely going to make it a lot of success for Anthony Richardson because he can see what Jalen Hurts did. He can be comfortable in accept everything the coach is telling him because he's done this before and you want to follow in Jalen Hurts' footsteps and the coach has that experience and, it's easier because it's already proven, but it's still going to be a learning curve. But, Anthony Richardson is not Jalen Hurts, but we have like the blueprint kind of to the direction that we're going. But it helps the coach out as well as Anthony Richardson like, hey, we've done this before. We're capable of doing it. And, we're going to keep pushing towards until we get it. I'm biased, but for sure, for sure, if they do not get 6 games, I think the tide would change in Washington real quick. It would change real quick. But we have high expectations. But winning games in the NFL is not easy. But man, you got to win more than 6 games. You got to win more. That's tough, man. I hope they get over 6.5 wins, but I don't think so. I think they might be the 3-13, 4, or even more now, 3-14 now. But yeah, I think it's under. I think they're going to be under 6.5 wins. You know, we gave the Eagles their first loss last year. you know, if somebody has the blueprint to playing them tough, it's I want the Washington to win, but it is tough to win back-to-back NFC championships, especially when you don't want your quarterback to get hurt. It's always in the mind of the players of the Eagles players, because if Jalen Hurts isn't playing, the chances aren't as good. But I want Washington to surprise everybody, and every year there is a surprise in the NFC East. And I think it'll be boring if the Philadelphia Eagles go off on a run like they did last year. But we will be excited when they play the Washington Commanders and when they play any NFC games, because it's divisional. But it's gonna be tough to repeat. But I know we're gonna play them tough, and hopefully we can backdoor our way into the NFC East championship. The NFC Championship, it's always hard to go against San Francisco. It's always hard to go against San Francisco. Regardless how their season looks at the beginning, they'll start to pick up steam and start to figure things out, which is a Kyle Shanahan specialty. And I kind of don't like it, because you kind of wait to figure things out instead of shutting the door out, cutting everybody out early. But it is a tough game to always dominate. But it's tough to go against 49ers in the NFC. The AFC, obviously, it's always tough to go against Kansas City. But I'm expecting Kansas City to be there. It's just hard to go against them. It's just tough. But Aaron Rodgers, I know they're gonna make it to the playoffs, but I don't know how far after the first round of the playoffs. I don't know if they can sustain it, but it'll be exciting to see, because we do want that matchup. Man. It's just hard to see somebody else. We want to see somebody else win it, but it's hard to see somebody else get beaten Kansas City, especially when it comes down to the crunch time. Because when Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hands, you know where he's going. And then they'll surprise you with throwing it to somebody else. It's like, wow, why is this guy explosive too? So, it's hard to go against Kansas City, but, I'd be excited if the New York Jets get one. Definitely be excited if Aaron Rodgers get it again. San Francisco, love for Kyle Shanahan to win the Super Bowl. That's my guy. I would love to see, that story where, Brock Purdy leads him, Mr. Irrelevant leads him to a Super Bowl championship. We know Christian McCaffrey's going to do his thing when he in any game. Debo's going to be excited. So they're stacked up. They're moving in the right direction, and I kind of love the way Kyle Shanahan, they got rid of the drama right away and kept focusing on football.